is today. But all of that creates fear and tension in our city. And you know, we have to think about the families on Friday, 3 different workplaces where raids took place. Many of those family members have not been in contact with their relatives. They don't know
Good.
where their relatives
Good.
are still here. Are they in Southern
Good.
California? Have they been
They
to
should
the
be
country
with,
that maybe
with
they
their
don't
relatives,
know? And
if
so
they're
the
illegals.
instability that creates.
They
and
should
we went
be.
through this before in the last administration, the last Trump administration.
Have you spoken to President Trump? Have you spoken directly to the administration?
I have spoken directly to the administration. I have not spoken to President Trump. I might reach out to him in the next few days.
Have they been responsive to you explaining why this isn't going to work in the city of Los Angeles, and that as we're seeing, the city is going to resist this?
Well, I felt, first of all, that they were accessible, that they were responsive. However, the National Guard...
You're responsible for this. Your
About the
bitch
National
ass
Guard,
was responsible
almost
for
2,000
this.
members.
Right.
I heard yesterday there was about 300.
Right.
Actually, I
You're
think he should
still
be
feeling as
executed
though
for
the National
treason,
Guard, Trump
actually,
calling
but
the
that's
National
just
Guard,
me.
That's what's responsible for yesterday, because
No. I'm saying Friday is what was responsible for yesterday. This was a buildup. You know, our city was peaceful before the raids took place. So you are correct. He called for 2,000 soldiers. There's 200 in the city of Los Angeles and another 100 in the adjacent city of Paranormal.
But let's talk about what we saw yesterday,
Right.
and then in the afternoon and then into the evening. Some really ugly scenes, vandalism, violence in our city. Do you blame
What
President
you
Trump for
Well,
caused.
let me just be clear. I blame the people that were creating the violence.
You created
What
the
happened
problem.
last night was absolutely
You and
unacceptable.
you scum and these
Period.
other
There's no ifs, ands, or
leftists
buts.
created this problem. You created this problem. Your bitch ass created this problem. Let these people that take our resources, drain our resources, taking our money, getting free EBT food stamps, getting free Social Security, free rent, free health care while other people suffered. You are the problem. Your bitch ass is a problem.
Arrests, like has happened in our city before. But if you watch the pictures, especially on national TV, you would think that the entire city has blown up into unrest, and this is just not.
We've had a problem for a long
Republicans,
time
President Trump,
before
are
you
using
were
those
mayor.
images to say, "We told you so. This is why we need the National Guard." Some even threatening the Marines.
Well, the Marines are stationed nearby, and so we already have the military in our midst. But I really think we need to go back and look at norms and look at what policies and laws actually are. Because I think the thing that is challenging in this administration is that you don't know where the line is. So if you're going to say that this is exactly why we need the National Guard, again, I'm going to go back to Thursday. Nothing was happening in this city.
It's hard to predict what happens next. We're hearing possibly 30 days.
It's easy to stream,
of
but I
raids.
think they
What are
should.
you hearing, and how does this end? When does this end?
So let me just call your attention.
I think they should be
Imagine what that
face
means.
execution for treason. I do. That's me. For what they've allowed and stuff, or do some of the others, but. That is stupid. There it is. Yeah. Alright. I mean, we got these people coming out now. All they're doing is causing problems. I need to plug in the computer with the other one. I don't think it matters what party you're on. You cause stuff like this and you commit crimes like this, I think that politicians should face execution. That's me. Because of the power they wield over all the people and everything, and how much it affects the people. I think if they had to face execution, then they wouldn't be doing this. If they took their responsibility seriously to their people and everything, and cared about the people that they represent. But I don't think I'm being extreme. Some people think I am, but I don't think I am.
Start with breaking news. New developments just minutes ago related to the violent ICE protests. Just moments ago, President Donald Trump saying it would be, quote, great if Governor Gavin Newsom were arrested. The governor and the White House have been clashing over how to handle protests in Los Angeles. It started when Tom Homan, the border czar, warned that anyone, including public officials, would be arrested if they obstructed federal immigration enforcement. Governor Newsom tweeting, quote, the President of the United States just called for the arrest of a sitting governor. This is a day I hoped I would never see in America. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. This is a line we cannot cross as a nation.
Yes, we do.
This is an unmistakable step toward authoritarianism. End of quote.
That's what a president
we've already started looking into the big question at the heart of this. Can the president order soldiers to be sent to a certain location, even if the state's governor disagrees? ABC 10's Candace Redd explains.
President Donald Trump is deploying 2,000 troops with the California National Guard to Los Angeles in response to violent immigration protests. Well, the White House made the announcement on Saturday. The Trump administration said Democratic leaders in our state are, quote, failing to protect their citizens, end quote. Well, Governor Gavin Newsom disagrees. He released his own statement over the weekend, calling Trump's decision, quote, inflammatory. Well, Newsom went on to explain that there is no shortage of law enforcement.
Yes, there is a big shortage. There's a big shortage of law enforcement. I mean, look at that. I mean, law enforcement is getting their asses kicked. I mean, they're owning law enforcement. You know, we see that all weekend of LAPD and the sheriffs getting owned. We've been watching this all weekend. I don't really want to hear the others so much, but I want to get to these other things here. These other people have got to say. Let me see here. I just got to see this here.
Governor Gavin Newsom. Governor, thanks for joining us live on MSNBC.
Good to be with you.
So this is, as I said, the Emergency Operations Center. I wonder how you would characterize the events that are unfolding in Los Angeles right now. Is it an emergency? Is it, Fox News is calling it the LA riots? Is it a peaceful protest? What's happening and what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, look, Donald Trump has created the conditions you see on your TV tonight. He's exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's putting fuel on this fire ever since he announced he was taking over the National Guard. An illegal act, an immoral act, an unconstitutional act, and we're going to test that theory with a lawsuit tomorrow.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Sorry to interrupt you, but Governor, so that's news. If you're going to sue the administration, tell me a little bit about it. Give us a preview of this lawsuit.
Well, under his executive order, it specifically notes, and under what the deal.
The president has full authority under the Constitution to even arrest this son of a bitch right here. And I think people like him should be executed for treason as well. Has full authority under the Constitution to get rid of people like him. This is done during the Civil War as well. We got rid of these pieces of trash and stuff like that. And a lot of them, got death, or imprisonment, or they no longer had office and stuff. So I mean, I knew he's going to take this to court, and I know that Trump is going to honor a stupid court system if they're wrong and stuff. I knew this piece of shit was going to go to the courts because the courts usually don't recognize the Constitution. Doesn't matter what political party you're in, it doesn't matter whatsoever. You know, it does Democrat or Republican, they have the authority by the executive branch to do what Trump is doing. They have the authority to do that.
What they did is they had to coordinate with the governor of the state. They never coordinate with the governor of the state. I've worked with the National Guard. We've deployed the National Guard. We did 3,000+ folks. I've been doing logistics work and fire recovery work when they're fighting the fires.
Let's be honest, he's not following either Constitution. What he's done is treasonous. It's totally illegal, and he's not protecting the borders, he's not protecting the citizenry whatsoever. He's not protecting us. What he's doing is treason. I don't want to hear all that stuff, but he's going to take it to the courts, I know, and the courts don't all recognize presidential authority. So, hold on, I want to get what he says.
Many of whom actually committed crimes in this country.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Police Department was told to stand down and not help ICE at all. So federal officers were not assisted by local police officers. People absolutely start destroying and tearing up all of Los Angeles, similarly to how they had been doing the previous week and the week before, after they had the trains spray painted and all of the businesses destroyed. At some point, Trump said, hey, we need to deploy the National Guard to protect federal buildings and to protect businesses. And so now Gavin Newsom is telling you that the situation was exacerbated, not by criminals and criminal activity, but by Trump protecting United States government property, citizens, and buildings, as well as businesses. And this is y'all leader, Gavin Newsom. You guys hadn't heard from Gavin Newsom at all. Not even a little bit during this whole situation.
I mean,
Gavin
Newsom
has been MIA. Karen Bass and Hakeem Jeffries have been practically advocating for immigration agents' addresses and things like that to be appearing online so that they can be doxxed. This is the liberal left. These are the people that basically are upending what happens in America so that, you know, it be open and available to everybody, including illegal migrants, with health care coverage, with all of the opportunities. This
is a problem. The left cares more about criminals running our streets, cartel members, gang members, sex traffickers, human traffickers, and stuff like that. They don't give a shit about the citizens whatsoever. They want these illegals to take all our money, all our tax money, get free food, free lodging, free housing, free health care, while the rest of us suffer, especially during the last hurricane season and stuff. You know, and they don't care about us. These guys are criminals. What I say is a bit extreme. Some may say it's extreme, but like I said, doesn't matter which party. Anybody, Republican or Democrat, that doesn't protect the people, doesn't do their job, and does treasonous activity, I believe they should be executed. I do believe that. Under the law, I believe that they should. I think we need to go back to that, because if we did, this wouldn't be happening. This stuff.
Under the table wages, committing crimes. They won't even say Laken Riley's name. And now you see Gavin Newsom sitting here saying that he wants to file a lawsuit against the Trump administration because he had to step in and protect the United States of America and Los Angeles from completely burning to the ground from people that are committing crimes. And if you've seen any of this footage, if you've seen any of the video, it's some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my entire life. But he'll pull up on MSNBC and be having these conversations nice and safe, acting like he's really busy.
You're saying that the President of the United States has made the situation on the ground here in Los Angeles less safe. What do you know about immigration enforcement today? Has there been any ICE raids in the city today? Are they coordinating with you on that at all? Are they giving you a heads up?
Of course they're not coordinating.
Why would
you're
they
not doing
coordinate when you
anything.
guys already said that you wouldn't want to work with Tom Homan
Yeah.
and immigration officials on getting people out of there that's not supposed to be here?
Right.
Told
Right.
in just a recent briefing just a few minutes ago that was small.
Keep in mind, these pieces of trash like him, LAPD, and sheriffs have leaked out stuff from, from the feds, telling them where they'll be and stuff like that. So we can't coordinate with people that are leaking national security secrets. We can't get it because they're going to leak it out and stuff. So
activity in the county and not in the city proper. But look, you made a point a moment ago. These images are unacceptable. These kids on the car, the folks that are taking advantage of this, these aren't peaceful protesters, a lot of these folks, a lot of great people out there
Finally
doing the
said
right
something,
thing.
right?
But you get these insurgent groups coming in, sort of these anarchists that are in there to create real problems. And they're just playing right into Donald Trump's hand. And they need to be called out. They need to be arrested. It is wrong to destroy other people's property, and it is wrong to create the conditions that only exacerbate this. But Donald Trump, at the end of the day, is the sponsor of these conditions.
Let me give you.
no, you are.
So
You
they're not
are.
arresting nobody. The Los
Yeah,
Angeles
yeah.
Police Department, the California Patrol, Highway Patrol, the sheriffs, nobody is arresting any of these people that's doing none of
Yeah,
this stuff.
nobody.
And they're blaming it on
Nobody.
Donald Trump for trying to get some
Yeah.
control and saying that people are going to be prosecuted on a federal level if they continue to do this stuff against the United States of America. Amazing.
Opportunity. You mentioned that there are people out there causing mischief and mayhem. What's your message to those people who are out there tonight? Not the peaceful protesters that are out there protesting for the rights of immigrants, but for the people that
protesters
are
out there.
doing damage to
The
buildings.
rights of immigrants whip out the rights of the U.S. citizens that have earned their right to be here. The illegals have not earned anything. They have not earned their right to have a free place to live, to get Section 8, to get Social Security, or to get thousands of dollars a month. They haven't earned that. They haven't earned shit. Or get EBT food stamps, or to get free health care. They haven't earned shit, really.
Things to law enforcement out
Well,
there.
they're doing more than damage to buildings and to property. They're potentially damaging the very foundation of our, republic. The democracy.
Now, you had a
is
right to republic.
in the balance. I mean, you're seeing these authoritarian tendencies now are being acted out by this administration.
Somebody has to have
And we're
authority.
case
Why do he
in
keep
point
saying this
somewhere.
administration instead of addressing the people that's tearing up the city?
as it relates to nationalizing, federalizing the National Guard, threatening now to put in Marines. So
Yeah,
I hope these people would pause and just consider. Now, some of them, they want that kind of chaos. Some ways, they're
You do.
adjacent to where Donald Trump
You
is.
caused it.
But the peaceful protesters, we want to keep them safe. We want them to exercise their fundamental rights.
Yeah, you want them to take over the streets. You want them to take over streets. You want them to just do their human sex trafficking, get everything free, fleece all the other Americans that have earned their way here, that have jobs and stuff like that. And you want cheap labor. You want illegals to take American jobs for cheap labor. That's what you want. Just like you want maids, you want butlers and stuff like that to be illegals. You want that for cheap labor.
We want to keep those that are enforcing the laws in a respectful and responsible way also safe. But Donald Trump needs to pull back.
No,
He needs to
you-
stand down. Donald Trump is inflaming these
You're
conditions.
telling the
This
president
is Donald
the king,
Trump's
you're telling the king to
problem
step
right now.
down.
And if he can't solve it, we will.
He continues to,
You're not
as
solving,
always,
you're
hit you
done with
hard
it.
publicly. Just 10 minutes ago, he put out another Truth Social telling you and the mayor to apologize to the people of Los Angeles. You
Yeah.
guys go at it pretty hard publicly, but I know you talk privately. Have you spoken in the last couple of days to the president
Yeah.
about any of this?
Yeah, we talked for almost 20 minutes, and this issue never came up. I mean, I kept trying to talk about L.A. He wanted to talk about all these other issues. We had a very decent conversation.
When was this?
This was late Friday night. about 1:30 plus his time.
After the protests had started.
After the protests, and he never once brought up the National Guard. He's a stone cold liar. He said he did.
No,
stone
you are.
cold liar.
I don't believe that.
Never
I just
did.
don't believe that.
It was a very civil conversation. I've always wanted to approach engagement with the President of the United States in a respectful and responsible way. But there's no working with the President. There's only working for him. And I will never work for Donald Trump.
Did you mention at all to him in that phone call on Friday night the types of raids
resources
that
for
were
the
happening
fires?
in your state?
The thing is, I'm not from one side, not Republican, I'm not Democrat, I'm a big person. But the thing is, there's stuff I don't like about Donald Trump. There's plenty that I don't like about him. At the same time, most of us voted for Trump because of illegals and the anarchy that has run rampant through this country and stuff. There's plenty of stuff that I don't like about Donald Trump. I don't like his big beautiful bill, from Republicans. I don't like that. But you're the cause.
On Friday, there are reports that and video of enforcement operations happening in ways that they haven't traditionally. ICE officers going to Home Depots around Los Angeles and picking off day laborers. Did you bring that up with him?
The conversation started with the frame of what's happening in LA. He immediately pivoted to other interests and other things.
Do you think he was aware of what was happening in Los Angeles?
I think I'm more than aware. And obviously, he was setting this up.
I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. I do believe that Trump likes to go on and on and on and on for hours at a time and talk about himself, which most people don't like, where he just goes on and on and on about himself, about what he's done, and making America great again. We don't really like that. Just get to the point and stop the news conference and everything. But anyways, I wanted to also, because they started good.
You're running us over, you're shooting us, all because of the color of our skin.
No, it's not.
All because we have culture, we brought it here.
This is complete bullshit that the news is putting out. This has nothing. They're not going just after Latino people, and the truth needs to put out about the lies and stuff like that. Let me see. I really do need to. And it goes black out like that. This it's not just Latinos that they're going after. It's Ukrainians, like I said, North Koreans, Chinese people, etc. The news is trying to make it like that it's about Latino hate, and it's not. I don't hate Latinos or anything. We don't hate Latinos. It's how the news and the left likes to create race wars. They do it with black people versus white, stuff like that. And they just like to create racism. That's what the left does, is create racism. And say, we care about you guys, their party doesn't. And those are lies and hypocrisy, and everything. So.
And we are who we are, and we love it here, and we help people here. That's what we're known for. We help people, and yet we're getting terrorized. We're going through this. Our families are being our babies are literally being ripped from our hands. If someone could please tell me if there's something we can do.
One thing is, I don't know if she's an illegal or not. But if you're here illegally, you're not supposed to be here. The thing is, there is a lot of human trafficking. And there are 500,000 kids that are unaccounted for from illegal, trafficking or sex trafficking. You don't know who the parents are. You don't know who the real parents are. And you want a lot of this human trafficking to keep going, the rapists and the murderers, stuff like that. I know there's good illegals out there that cross the border. I know there's a lot of good ones. But the bad ones are causing the problems. And there's just a lot of bad people that need to get kicked out of the country.
If there's something we could do to help our people, please just imagine yourself in our situation. Imagine your people are being terrorized. They're being ran over.
No one's being run over. What the fuck are you talking about? No one's being terrorized. No one's being terrorized here. We're being terrorized by entitled people, illegal entitled people, saying we deserve all this free money. We deserve, free healthcare. We deserve free rent. We deserve all these payments of thousands of dollars for these months and stuff like that. Free health care. Well, it's taken away from Americans that have earned their way or are naturalized citizens. And that's billions and billions of dollars wasted in different states.
You literally cannot have empathy for someone. I don't know what to tell you. You're an evil ass human being and you need help and you need God. You have no heart, and hell, there's a special place in hell for you. Karma is real and God will take care of them. This is so heartbreaking. I don't know what we could do to help. I feel so helpless. I just want to help with something. I just want this to end. I just want there to be peace like there was peace. I just want that. That's all I want.
There wasn't peace. There wasn't peace. There wasn't.
And so they want to then condemn us to hell because
there wasn't any peace with gangs and sex trafficking and human trafficking. But you don't bring that up. You've been brainwashed by the media, their BS, saying that they're only targeting Latinos. They're not. They're going after Filipinos as well, Chinese, Europeans, Russians, Asians, Haitians, Jamaicans, stuff like that. It's not just Latinos.
Because we believe in structure and order. Never mind the fact that you came over here illegally and that you broke the law. You knew you were breaking a law, or at least your parents knew that they were breaking a law. And y'all just absolutely destroyed your own country. So shout out to whatever respective country that a lot of these people are from. Right now, I see a lot of Mexicans are the ones that are complaining about they are getting y'all up out of here. And so because they've decided to execute on the idea that people that came over here illegally and skipped the line and didn't take care of business and didn't do it the right way, right? Because, and you know what, I'm so tired of them comparing it to black people. It's not the same, not even a little bit. And y'all know that I hold black people accountable on a regular basis. I hold everybody accountable.
I hold everyone
accountable. But it's not the same as being sold to be over here in the transatlantic slave trade versus voluntarily coming over here. A lot of y'all don't even try to learn how to speak English fluently. You don't even speak English at all. Y'all work under the table, send your wages back home so you can take care of family, which I don't even blame y'all for doing that. But then when you got to pay the piper, when you have to start being accountable for the fact that you did something illegal, even though the previous administration was finessing and they're the ones that let y'all over here in mass because it's been happening for a long time, all of a sudden everybody needs to be compassionate for your situation. That's not how it works. That's not how life works. And I understand that you're young, she's young. I understand that she's advocating for her people. But if you look at what's happening on the news, they're flying the Mexican flag. They're burning cars. They're destroying businesses. They're rioting in the streets. And they have zero respect for the authority. They don't have respect for the police officers. They don't have respect for ICE. They don't have respect for our president. They don't have respect for themselves. And so they are now treating Los Angeles, which Los Angeles is in shambles. California, shambles. Everything on the West Coast is just going down the drain. And you don't hear nothing, and I mean absolutely zero, from the California governor, Gavin Newsom. You don't hear anything from him whatsoever. Karen Bass, Hakeem Jeffries goes on and says that we need to start practically doxing and showing the identities and finding out where the people live. That's ICE agents that's executing on their job and enforcing the laws that's on the books. Basically, the law says that you cannot come over here illegally and set up shop and then think that you're supposed to stay here. So now that Trump is fulfilling the promises since day one of making sure that they get and the people that's being arrested, they're not even good people. They're not even good people. These are people with crazy criminal records. Listen, I was born here in America. My family was born here in America. All that, right? Literally all of that, since whatever, right? Father, grandfather, great-grandfather, all of them is born here in America, right? Straight up in the South, Dawson, Georgia, to be specific. I don't even have a criminal record. I have no criminal record. My father, no criminal record. My grandfather, no criminal record. Trump is... Wow. All of these people that they're demanding, that they were laying in front of the vehicles trying to get ran over and stuff, as she would describe it, all of those people were literally, that they were asking for to get released.
The thing is, they asked, to get run over was they step in front of ICE vehicles and stuff like that, and they try and force them to stop, throw rocks at them. You're asking to get shot, you're asking to get run over and stuff like that. If I'm doing that, throwing rocks at a cop vehicle, if I'm trying to get them stopped by force, I would expect them to shoot to kill me. I just am. I gotta expect that. Let's be real. And it's like, that
had crazy criminal records.
And there are things, they're taking over freeways. They're part of the problem. They want to just piss people off. They're not doing this in a peaceful way. Taking over roads, people can't get to their homes, they can't get food, they can't, get to doctor's appointments. And you guys are, crying baby over that. You gotta be kidding me, dude. You gotta be kidding me. You ain't gonna get no sympathy when you're preventing us from getting to our homes, taking over streets, lighting fires, destroying property, and stuff like that. You ain't getting no sympathy. Like that.
And they was out there waving the Mexican flag. Out there waving the Mexican flag.
How can you lack so much compassion? What if your mom, your dad, was immediately just taken from you? As a white person, as a black person.
Why don't you try to naturalize yourself? Why don't you go through the process? My ancestors did. All of our ancestors did. We went through the legal process. Otherwise, we couldn't come into this country. We didn't just walk our way into this country. No, there's Ellis Island. And if we were sick, we couldn't come through. And they wouldn't let most of us through unless we had a job. We showed that we could, make our own way. That we had a job, we had support. Because they didn't want people, there's no Social Security. There's no Medicare, no Medi-Cal, no HMO type stuff. Nah. We're through hell to get, our ancestors did. We got nothing for free, and all these illegals getting everything for free. And the reason why they're right is because they think they deserve all this stuff for free. Go through naturalization. Do it the legal way, sister. Do it the legal way, sister, and I'll have your freaking back. I'll have your back. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing that right now, if you was doing that right now, sister, I'd have your back. I'd have your back. I say let her stay. It's not just your gorgeous looks either. I do that to those guys, whoever. and everything. You know, you're not doing criminal activity stuff, I'd have your back. But
As anyone,
Don't compare yourself. Please don't compare yourself.
how can you just accept that? This is not.
What are nails? What are French tips that was done over here in America?
Bro, this is so unreal, and how can people just lack compassion? How? Why can't you just imagine yourself just waking up one day with your...
It's hard to have compassion for people that has taken all our money, all our resources. And other people, FEMA didn't have money for Americans that were dying out there from the hurricane. You know, you got North Carolina, South Carolina, you had Florida and stuff like that. If FEMA says, oh, we don't have any money for you, we gave it all to illegals. What the fuck? You guys didn't earn that. You guys didn't do anything for us. Where was help for us when we needed it? You guys got that for free. You guys just want these handouts and everything. I know some are working. I know there are illegals that are working and stuff, but as long as they're not taking our jobs, as long as they're not taking American jobs, that's great. That's great. I know there's some good illegals out there. I know there's a lot of good ones out there. I'm not going against those. I'm going against the criminals. Those are the ones that are pissing me off, out there causing problems. And for Democrats to go out there and defend them and say that we are the problem, fuck you. And fuck everything you stand for. I got no respect for you. And I think that, okay, if the Republicans are doing this, I say they deserve to be executed under law, under treason. I say that the politicians that did this, I believe they should be executed for their crimes because of what they've done to the whole country. And I believe that if politicians were held accountable and stuff for the crimes that they commit, this wouldn't be happening. I'm a big proponent of execution for politicians that does this evil, allows this evil to happen. It doesn't matter what side. It doesn't matter what side. If they're doing bad stuff to our country, committing crimes, because of the power they wield over the people, and all of people suffering because of them, I believe they should be held to higher accountability, higher terms of accountability. They need to be held by law. And I believe there should be a death penalty for politicians. I'm not...
family not there anymore. So LA businesses are getting raided by ICE, or some people that are wearing stuff that says ICE on it with their faces all covered up. People are getting ran over. Shots are being literally fired. Literally.
I have not seen anybody. I have not seen one person in all these days get ran over. I see people that deserve to get ran over for trying to hold vehicles and buses back, and people that have been throwing stuff at these vehicles. And I think, in cop cars, and honestly, if it was me behind the wheel, I would just ran right through them. I'm not going to get killed for you. I'm not going to have some of your people try and kill me behind the wheel. No, I would run right through, or else I would shoot you guys. This is a problem. Law enforcement in the old days would not have allowed this. And they just become pussies, really. And that's why the people don't respect them. These people that are doing riots, stuff like that, they have no respect for them. Unless they use force, the law on the streets is you gotta be willing to fight for what you want. And that's the same with law enforcement. They get respect.
Flashbangs and the smoke and all of that other stuff. Listen, stop listening to misinformation and start listening to Anton from AntonDaniels.com. We're going to cover this in the morning on the Millionaire Morning Show.
And this is supposed to be life right now. We're not going to get treated like humans because they don't see us like humans.
Listen, baby. Listen, sis. Listen, man, you guys have gotten all this stuff for free. Tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars, some people, over time. Free housing. Free rent. EBT food stamps. Social Security. Free health care, all this stuff. And you're saying you guys have to suffer? You're living in a house right now. I noticed that you're in a house, sister. I noticed that you're in a house. So how are you suffering? How are you suffering? You're in a house right now. You're not on the streets. We have homeless out there that need a place to live. We have veterans that do not have a place to live. And yet you're saying that you and your people are suffering through this? How so? How so? For each person that says that, I know that I can prove otherwise.
Lack compassion. How can you lack compassion? How? I understand that you're trying to get criminals out. Why are you going to workplaces where people are just trying to work? That doesn't.
What, you don't think that criminals need to make money too?
They do need to make money.
That's literally what happens, is that criminals try to make money by going to work also. They still got to make money. Yeah. And it's not just about criminals. The criminals are people that came over here and here illegally.
Jobs.
Listen, man, I'm all compassionate.
We need jobs.
I know that maybe when I was 20.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we need jobs. Americans have lost tens of thousands of jobs just to AI alone. Just over 50,000, over 60,000. Okay? We're losing a lot of jobs, 100,000 jobs, etc. You guys that can work for lower wages, which is supposed to be illegal, by the way, that's taking our jobs. We no longer have those jobs. You guys do. And it's supposed to be American for Americans first, not America for illegals first. That could do cheap labor. Tyson Foods, it had got rid of, in one town, they laid everybody off, hundreds of workers. And they said they're doing diversity, which diversity meant illegals, because they're willing to work for less money, etc. So Tyson threw out the Americans, the Americanos out, and said, we're get all these, and other food companies have done it as well, for lower wage people, which is illegal. But so they take a lot of our jobs.
20 or even 18, 17, to be indoctrinated into the Democrat plantation and then to start taking up causes that wasn't for me. At one point, that might have been true. But as a 43-year-old man today, I will tell you that I am all compassionate out. I think that they all need to go. If you came over here in this country illegally, you need to get up out of here. I think that we're doing just fine. And I think that there's also a bigger play here, in that liberals are trying to control how many representatives that they have in certain branches of government by playing a role in a census.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation again that I'm a deep dive in.
It has to do with votes, and they want their votes. They got a lot of people naturalized in a not so legal way. And in California, of course, Newscom said don't look at their IDs. Luckily, where I am in LA County, they did. Luckily, they did check for ID. I love that. Most other places I've heard of, they didn't check for an ID. They did. And they're supposed to by law. They're supposed to. It's supposed to be American citizens that do it. So, I mean, this is about them trying to make it impossible for another party other than the Democrats to gain power and stuff like that. They did that for the vote and everything else. Different reasons like that. And so they're catering to the Latino vote. They're making this a race war. They're not going after just Latinos, babe, all right? They're not. If you're doing this the legal way, I'd have your back. And you're not a criminal and stuff like that, I'd have your back. I would. But, anyways. let's see what's going on. ABC, so I got it. I don't like to get triggered. I really don't. Let's see here.
And other groups held a peaceful demonstration near the California Civil Rights Building. They're fighting for the families they say are being kidnapped by the government.
Trump said he was going to go after the criminals. What we're seeing is he's going after cooks. He's going after...
Some of those cooks were criminals and stuff like that. I mean, how they try to spin this and stuff like that. I see all these people that should be arrested. Here, all these people. It's a bad shape. Look at that there. And everything. And a lot of these people are saying that these were innocent people that were kidnapped. What about the people that have been kidnapped here from the cartels that owe the cartels? Or gangs money? They're held hostage here by gang members here in America and cartel. There is a human trafficking rings here in the U.S. and stuff like that. And the news is lying about this. They're lying about the whole thing. You know? And you got lower wage workers that they just had on and stuff like that. So, which is not supposed to be legal.
Time in 60 years, a U.S. president has bypassed a sitting governor to deploy troops in that governor's state. And this comes as Trump considers calling in active duty Marines. ABC's Melissa Adon joins us now live from Los Angeles. So, Melissa, what are you seeing this morning?
Hey there, Jordan. I want to show you some of that aftermath really from the weekend's protests. Right now, what you hear, though, are some of the sirens because law enforcement have really kind of situated themselves here. But these are Waymo vehicles that have been burned out. There's a line of them, about 5 of those cars out in the distance. We see the federal building. It is lined with graffiti. Right now, also, we're seeing some of the helicopters as we anticipate more protests today.
The anti-ICE protest in Los Angeles heating up after President Trump deployed National Guard troops, bypassing California Governor Gavin Newsom. The demonstrations first starting after immigration authorities conducted a series of sweeps, arresting more than 100 people on Friday. LA's police chief says most of the protests in the city have been peaceful. He calls the scattered violence disgusting.
Tonight we had individuals out there shooting commercial-grade fireworks at our officers. That can kill you.
Police on horseback seen here as a firework explodes in front of them. The LAPD says multiple officers...
What were they thinking using horses? Horses are not made to take fireworks like that either. They're lucky the horses, usually horses cannot handle that. Usually that was inhumane treatment of the animals. I love animals more than humans, more than cops or any other people. I do. Using animals is a no-no. I don't like cops using service dogs. That's just wrong because of how they train the dogs to attack people. And I don't like how they train them either. That's not totally wrong. So, oh my God, I just can't. I just don't want to get triggered.
Yesterday. And look, this is a call and an action that Governor Newsom is asking the Trump administration to revoke. But meantime, the Trump administration says there are 500 active duty Marines that are on standby and ready to come out here at a moment's notice. So we will be monitoring the situation. Reporting live from Los Angeles, I'm Melissa Adon, ABC 10 News.
All right. Thank you, Melissa, for being with us this morning. And President Trump's order to send in the National Guard isn't only being fought by Governor Newsom. Last night, Sacramento Mayor Kevin McCarty joined in on the conversation. In a statement, the recently elected mayor saying in part, quote, "The federal government's actions in Los Angeles are harmful and purposefully inflammatory, putting Californians in unnecessary danger."
That's what you guys have been doing around here. You guys created this problem when you gave them free, all this stuff for free housing and stuff like that, free food, free rent and stuff like that. They don't want to go without that. They're pissed at Trump. That's why they're rioting, is because they're not getting all this free stuff no more. You know? And why would you want to support people that are doing this stuff? You don't. You know? Americans need health care. Americans need housing. Americans need jobs and everything. I want to see if there's some other that. I believe that's that right there. I want to see if there's another one. So let me see. That's ABC 7. Let's see it. I want to see if Fox is back or NBC. I want to see if there's NBC. Something I could just hover it on. There. Yeah. There's a slot beating out here having fun out of you. I feel sorry for you, I really do. Let's see what's going on here. It's like just ABC has that. I would think that Fox and ABC should have something, so unless they're using the same cameras. Has to do with police. That's to scroll all the way down here to NBC. I want to get this. I just want to get all this stuff, different feeds here. Even or is that Australia? They are popular now. Well, let's go here. I want to go here.
Once again, thank you to everyone who is joining us here on NBCLA.com, Telemundo 52, and all of our streaming platforms. We just moved from Olvera Street over to another group of demonstrators that is off of Alameda and Temple. So that's essentially, actually, it's a little bit closer to Aliso Street, which is right off the 101. So we're taking a look at this crowd here. They're just next to the Metropolitan Detention Center.
They're blocking places. Oh my God! Oh my God! They have to. That many. Wow.
But we'll see them get out of their vehicles momentarily. And then over here we have LAPD officers who are blocking any southbound movement onto Alameda Street. This crowd is relatively small, all things considered. I'd put it at a couple dozen people at most. And as I move the shot over down Alameda, you're going to see a lot of patrol units here. We also see what look like members of the National Guard there at the entrance to one of the parking lots for the Metropolitan Detention Center. Continuing on south here on Alameda, eventually we're going to end up on Temple. And there you go, there's the intersection of Alameda and Temple. We have seen a number of demonstrations take place here over the last few days. At this point, again, it looks like it's mostly law enforcement and members of the National Guard that are on this stretch of Alameda. We do have a few demonstrators up ahead here at the Aliso intersection, right off the 101 freeway. In terms of the 101, though, it is somewhat slow through the area. Of course, people stopping to take a look at all of the police activity overhead. But in terms of lane closures, I'm not really seeing anything, so things are still flowing pretty well. You are going to be somewhat limited, though, when it comes to on-ramps and off-ramps through this area. So pushing in here, that looks like that is currently blocked, and I believe that's going to be an off-ramp. Yeah, so that's going to be the Alameda off-ramp if you're traveling northbound on the 101 freeway. So if you do take the freeway through here, just know you're probably going to have to just stay on it until you get to roughly the Silver Lake area, and up there you can get off the freeway. But at least through here, it looks like some of the on-ramps and off-ramps will be affected by today's demonstrations. Buenas tardes, una vez más desde el helicóptero. Yo soy Elian Moreno reportando y estamos sobre ahora el centro de Los Ángeles, justo afuera de la cárcel federal localizada aquí en la calle Alameda, donde se junta con la calle Aliso, justo al sur de la autopista 101, donde vemos
I can't hear really anything that she's saying.
aproximadamente unas 30 personas. Vemos más oficiales que manifestantes al momento.
Not even as big as it was during the weekend.
En la escena, uniformados, y también vemos miembros de la Guardia Nacional. Esos son los miembros que ven ahí. Justo afuera de la cárcel, ahí están sus vehículos también estacionados. Pero en la calle Alameda es donde vemos patrullas de la policía de Los Ángeles. Un poquito más hacia el norte también vi a oficiales de la patrulla de caminos de California. Ellos están aquí asistiendo con el tránsito en el área. Al momento no veo que ningún
If there was more people like there was during the weekend, they'd easily outflank that. They'd easily outflank that.
Y también lo que veo es que unas de las salidas y entradas de la autopista 101 aquí en el centro de Los Ángeles están cerradas al momento.
They're covering it pretty well. So I mean, if I go to another station, I don't think that will make that much of a difference. This stuff makes my ear itch a bit, so sorry. Probably scratched it up. Yeah. Is there anywhere else? I know there's other places they could be. I want to, let me see, let's see for LA. Same thing. So they're using, these news stations are using the same feed. Yeah, I love the same people as it was.
Arrest of a sitting governor. This is a day I hoped I would never see.
Let's see. Remove this. Here, this. Is this where they had that? So what's going on there? Just taking over streets, which is totally illegal. Totally illegal. here. I see one guy here. I know he calls himself Salt Disney. He went to tell Gavin Newsom. I know he said, so he's not going to happen. He said, "You have failed to fulfill your oath of office. Protect and defend, foreign or domestic. California is overrun with illegal aliens. You refuse to do anything about it, so President Trump will." That's crazy. That's the thing, is that I'm not. There's plenty of stuff I don't like about Trump, but this is the reason why I say most people voted for him. Is this? The guy said that'd be glorious news. They arrest Newsom for harboring illegal aliens, which is illegal activity and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's like there's an AI thing from this is from Twitter X. It says as of December 2024, the Department of Homeland Security estimated that California has 2.6 million undocumented illegal immigrants, which is the highest number of any state. This is slightly more than Texas, which has 2.1, holy fuck, illegal immigrants. The other two states account for, altogether two states, okay, Texas and California, account for 42% of the total undocumented immigrant population in the United States. 42% of, that have illegals is Texas and California. Holy God. Millions. Wow. That was December. That's December 2024. That's what they got counted. That's what they got counted, though. See. Where is that? I want to keep this here. Stuff keeps on pouring in from. I guess they're not proud Americans. I don't know. I mean, there's stuff that I hate about. It's not America though that I hate. It's the government. So there's a clear difference. Though. I mean, I hate how America is right now. I believe everything is so polarized on different sides. But it's like at the same time, people have the right to say that if like Mexico so much, why do you go back there? And of course, the reason it being is because cartels, the gangs, the cartels of violence in Mexico. And the reason why they have those Mexican flags is because they're proud to be Mexican. I get that, but that's the reason why. But Hold on, I'll be back. I need to take something. Take a leak. What is he doing now? Where's he going? Where are they going? What are they doing? Rats are coming out. Rats are coming out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, man. Rats have just come out of school. Oh my god, man. I wish there was audio. I wish there was audio. I want to see what's going on. Is there another one? No, that's... Let's see. Let me see.
Find strategy in an unnecessary and
Yeah, I got something. This is what happens when you give out stuff for free. Like this. They're taking over streets and everything else. Rats will come out. Rats will come out. A lot more coming down there. More rats come out. More rats. I hate to offend the rats. Because rats' lives matter more. There's nothing peaceful about this taking over streets. All those different access points. All the rats keep going right in and out of there.
A todos de esta gran ciudad de Los Ángeles y todos que están escuchando en este país, especialmente la comunidad.
If there was anybody arrested wrongly, then it should have happened, but if there's anybody ever wrongly, you take that is wrong. Sometimes we do have an American injustice system. Looks like that's how it is. Yeah, it is.
No, I'm gonna ask you the question. Who's got the power?
is Judge John A. So you said a horse? Oh. So maybe the Alameda side then, Jamie? Got a group of people right here. I think they're waiting for him. Oh yeah, right there.
I see problems here. I see
I
problems.
think it's kind of like the middle. This was David Huerta, right?
Check out Twitter. Again, on Twitter it says California has as of December 2024, has 2.6 million undocumented illegal immigrants, which is the highest number of any state.
Oh yeah, I see him there.
Texas is second with 2.1 million illegals. So I mean, the question also is, how many have not been counted? Those are just accounted versus the not counted.
There it is.
How many? That is a good question. How many? Got that one there. Okay, let's see here. See there on Twitter they have where pallets of bricks were delivered to some of these places.
Been released. We're trying to get you a good shot of it, but that's him right there in the middle holding a press conference.
Or pallets of bricks for these rioters. One Marine says here on Twitter X, as a Marine, I'll tell you this plain and simple. When Republic is under siege, we don't stand down. We stand up. If Camp Pendleton gets the call, it means the line's been crossed. It already has. Lots of times. Attacking federal agents, torching cities, waving foreign flags on American soil. That's not protest, that's domestic warfare. That is one way to see it, definitely, raising another flag. You want peace, then stop pushing this country to the edge. The Marines are always ready. God help the ones that test that. Too. Yeah, I remember Camp Pendleton. Yeah. I remember 1992. Let's see here. Jake Iger. Well, somebody replied to him. Jake? Is Jake? What is Jake? What do we got here? What the hell's going on here? Hey, wait, 700 Marines? Let's... Where is it? Right here.
From 29 to Palms, following the unrest in Los Angeles, they will join hundreds of National Guard troops ordered by President Trump. Air 7 over this massive rally. This breaking news, 700 U.S. Marines are heading from 29 to Palms following the unrest in Los Angeles. They will join hundreds of National Guard troops ordered by President Trump. Air 7 over this massive rally this afternoon in downtown's Grand Park. Tensions have been rising over ICE raids that began on Friday. Yesterday, protesters forcing the shutdown of the 101 freeway in downtown L.A. When news breaks, find it on the free ABC 7 Los Angeles app and join us for Eyewitness News at 3.
We need to get them out. We need to get them out. Honestly, they need more than that. ABC 10. Now, if he was wrongly, anybody that's wrongly taken, it is wrong. I mean, there needs to be accountability. Okay, they're done with that. Yeah, they have stopped this time looking something up. How nice. Yeah, he's the union leader. All right. So he was. I think he deserved it, though. I think he deserved it. I think he deserved to be arrested. He was instigating a lot of this stuff. I think David Huerta deserved it. He was an instigator like the mob guy is. It's just like the mob. You know, they get into union stuff and everything, and they instigate. But if he was wrong, that would be wrong. But He's an instigator, though. David Larrick is. I mean, that's what the mob used to do. Definitely, gangsters do that. They use, union just to galvanize groups of people to instigate stuff and to start, unrest. Is what they do. They got people lined up there or not? So if you look it up, some other stuff here as well. Let's see. Let's see. About the Associated Press. Or if they have really live rounds in those things. It's hard to believe a beautiful woman like her is so be dumb enough to be with these rats. So these rats here. Retardation at its best. Well, you don't belong here. Self-entitled people. Self-entitled people. Man. Yeah, someone replied to something I said in a post earlier about how Trump has, right, just like the president, doesn't matter what party, right or left or Democrat or Republican, they have the right to use the military. Because the president's the way that we made them when the United States was formed, was, president was to be king, to rule over the country, over the guys that head of state. The heads of states here, they're supposed to do their part and keep it safe, keep it from being taken over for the president. Now, with Newsom, where he hasn't done anything to protect the people, not enforced any of the laws, that's where the president comes in and sends in federalized troops. That's the way it is constitutionally. So, the separation of powers is part of the executive branch. President always trumps state governors. They're not the same as the president. The president has final authority. It doesn't want to question it, have to go to the courts and the legislature, Congress, both. It take the courts and Congress to change, the Constitution. So, there's that. Oh, nobody's watching, so that means I'm getting something. I'm going to get you an ice cream. Oh. We got that bandana. More terrorists. More terrorists coming out of the woodwork. Oh, man. Got the wrong kind, but all right. No, we don't demand stop the deportation. Deport you dumb fucking ass out of the country, bitch. I like to help deport that dumb ass out. Get a good kick in the fucking ass. There's support of Hamas right there. Terrorist organizations representing gotta support your local terrorist organization. You like looking at yourself? Wow. Look at that freak. Oh God. Somebody take that fucking bullhorn and break it. You are ignorant. You're a dumbass. No, you don't. No, you don't. Out here, yeah. Out of this country, yeah. Now, if you're illegally taking our money, you don't.